Right now, a government shutdown is set to close down federal agencies across the country within an hour.
Plus, abortion services in Wisconsin are paused. Why Wisconsin's Planned Parenthood is no longer providing abortion care and when it could resume.
And the Madison area priest accused of child sex crimes appears in court today. We'll update you on his plea from Waupaca County. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. And good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson. Developing tonight, the federal government is almost certain to shut down in just an hour at midnight Eastern time.
And it comes as Republicans and Democrats in Congress prove unable to reach a deal to extend government funding. Just hours ago, the Senate failed to pass a measure that would have temporarily avoided a shutdown. Any proposal would require 60 votes, meaning bipartisan support, to pass. But both sides of the aisle are placing blame on the other for not conceding in those negotiations.
Not once were we approached about what our input should be. Democrats remain ready to get to work to negotiate a bipartisan agreement, a truly bipartisan agreement to keep the government open.
But the far left's determination to oppose anything President Trump has ever said or done is not a good reason for subjecting the American people to the pain of a government shutdown.
Now, a shutdown means non-essential government services can expect to be disrupted. Thousands of federal employees could be without work. UW constitutional law expert Howard Schwaber says due to the Trump administration's frequent layoffs and staffing cuts, this shutdown could be more aggressive than those in the past.
So even when the shutdown ends, people may be returning to a much smaller and much less effective, much less responsive federal government than the one that existed even just yesterday.
Shutdown-related closures and layoffs could affect Veterans Affairs offices, Social Security offices, the CDC, National Institutes of Health, among other agencies.
And turning to weather now, in our first warn forecast, we have meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze, can we expect more summer-like temperatures ahead?
Yeah, we are going to continue to stay underneath these summer-like temperatures all through the weekend, and we could even flirt with the 90s by Friday. We're sitting in the 60s right now underneath some more increasing cloud cover, and that's going to continue as we head overnight. Still near 70 in Platteville, 63 Boscobel, 65 in Lone Rock, and 62 Juneau and Watertown. It's 70 in Cross Plains and 69 in Verona. Tomorrow we're looking at temperatures to be a little bit on the cooler side compared to where we were today. Certainly not cooler in the sense of cooler than average, because we should be in the upper 60s, but instead we're going to be in those mid to upper 70s, if not the low 80s. And as I mentioned, as we look ahead to Friday, temperatures could be in those upper 80s to low 90s, and we're going to stay in those mid 80s through the weekend as well. No rain expected through the rest of the week into the weekend. So when could we finally see some rain? Some much needed rain in the forecast. We'll take a look in just a few minutes.
Sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. Today, the Madison area priest charged with child sex crimes entered not guilty pleas in court. Andrew Showers appeared in court in Waupaca County, where a judge set his bond at $10,000. He is charged with one count of attempting to use a computer to facilitate a child sex crime, one count of attempted child enticement, and one count of attempted second-degree sexual assault of a child. This comes after he was arrested trying to meet a 14-year-old girl who was actually an officer for sex. Showers is currently restricted from public ministry and from contact with minors. His next court date is December 3rd.
Madison police are asking for your help finding a missing man last seen a month ago. Roy Fleming, 38, was last seen around Southtown Drive. This was back on August 29th, wearing red and black plaid pants, black shoes, and a black hat. If you have any information about Fleming's whereabouts, you're asked to contact the Madison Police Department. The number there on your screen, area code 608-255-2445, or Madison Area Crime Stoppers, that number 608-266-6014.
A suspect is in custody tonight after a domestic disturbance report that caused 2 McFarland schools to be placed on a secure hold today. Officers responded to a residence on Spartan Drive in McFarland this morning, but then police found the suspect's vehicle near Indian Mound Middle School and McFarland High School. School officials put both buildings on a secure hold where no one was allowed to leave or enter, but activities did continue inside. There were no direct threats made toward the school, students, or staff. The suspect was eventually found and taken into custody.
And now to an update on a shooting from earlier this month. Madison police say they have arrested a teenage suspect in that case. Law enforcement say they were able to find the 16-year-old after serving search warrants on Bunting Lane and Elliott Lane. That's on the north side, not far from the airport. The incident happened back on September 12th when a 19-year-old came to UW Health with a gunshot wound. According to police, the victim and suspects had arranged a meeting near East Main Street. During that meeting, a fight broke out and the 19-year-old was shot. The 16-year-old has been arrested for first-degree reckless injury and armed robbery.
The Sun Prairie School Board has a new member. Today, the district announced Danny Miller will serve through the spring of 2026. Miller currently works at UW, and he previously worked as a high school English teacher before coming to Madison. Miller will be replacing Katie Kamuko, who recently resigned, saying that she wanted to focus on her family. The resignation, however, comes amid scrutiny of this district's handling of allegations against former Sun Prairie West Dean of Students Robert Gilkey Meisegeier. The former dean is charged with several child sex crimes, and reports allege that district staff failed to report the crimes to police.
Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin is no longer offering abortion services today, marking the last day that care was available. Last week, the organization said that President Trump's cuts to Medicaid and his recent budget gutted its funding. While Planned Parenthood is just pausing its services, not officially cutting them, it's unclear when abortion care will again become available. During this time, anyone who finds themselves in need of abortion care, unsure of what to do, can contact Public Health Madison-Dane County's Nurse Navigators program. You can call or text the number on your screen between 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. weekdays. Counseling is free and it is also confidential.
Former Madison Alder Juliana Bennett is running for Wisconsin's 76th Assembly District. That's the district that represents the Isthmus. Bennett is an alum of Madison West High School and UW-Madison and says she's passionate about affordable living in downtown Madison.
Ensuring every person has an affordable home, raising the minimum wage to $23 an hour by 2030, delivering no-cost childcare and health care, and fully funding our public education and passing healthy school meals for all.
The opening in the assembly comes as Francesca Hong enters the race for Wisconsin's governor.
State regulators are suspending the license of the top veterinarian at embattled beagle breeder Ridgeland Farms. Wisconsin's Department of Ag, Trade and Consumer Protection says Richard Van Dommelen delegated procedures like surgeries to staff without proper licensing. The breeder, located in Blue Mounds, has faced scrutiny in recent years following accusations of animal cruelty. There have been 311 violations against Ridgeland Farms, and last week a case was referred to the Dane County District Attorney. The update comes despite the farm's denial of accusations. In a statement Monday, Ridgeland said a USDA inspection found it is in compliance with animal welfare regulations. A statement from Van Dommelen said, quote, all of the animal care staff at Ridgeland Farms are highly dedicated individuals who care deeply about animals and regularly witness how our work directly translates into improved health for our family pets.
Well, coming up tonight, military leaders were summoned from around the world for a meeting with President Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth today.
What new directives they're rolling out across the armed forces. That story and more when we come back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
President Trump addresses a rare gathering of top military leaders this morning at Marine Corps Base Quantico in Virginia.
He rallied the troops, but also talked about the new focus for the military. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
Before an unprecedented meeting of hundreds of generals and admirals, President Trump rallied the troops.
To each and every one of you, I thank you for your unwavering devotion to the armed forces and to the country that we've all sworn a sacred oath to defend.
But also shared his vision that defending the homeland should be the military's first priority.
After spending trillions of dollars defending the borders of foreign countries, with your help, we're defending the borders of our country from now on.
He talked about expanding deployments of the National Guard to other U.S. cities, singling out those run by Democratic leaders.
Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, they're very unsafe places, and we're going to straighten them out one by one. And this is going to be a major part for some of the people in this room. That's a war, too. It's a war from within.
Critics of this rare meeting raised concerns about security and also cost, with military officials traveling from their posts around the world on short notice.
There's a little bit of expense, not much, but there's a little expense to that. We don't like to waste it. We'd rather spend it on bullets and rockets, frankly. Defense
Secretary Pete Hegseth delivered remarks ahead of the president, promoting what he calls a warrior ethos and railing against past initiatives focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion.
As I've said before, and will say again, We are done with that.
Hegseth also announced a new directive that all combat positions return to the, quote, highest male standard, and he ordered a department-wide review of existing physical fitness standards. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Now, Hegseth said the fitness standards would apply to flag officers as well as soldiers, saying it was completely unacceptable to see, quote, fat generals and admirals walking through the halls of the Pentagon.
Hamas says it is reviewing President Trump's proposal to end the war in Gaza after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and several Arab countries backed the plan. The terms require Hamas to effectively disarm and release all remaining hostages in exchange for a ceasefire, a withdrawal of Israeli forces, and a surge of aid into Gaza. War-weary Palestinians expressed relief about a possible end to the fighting, but some Gaza residents say the deal falls short.
The plan as it appears does not fulfill the people's hopes. Everything written in it serves the enemy's interests more than it serves the people's interests. But in the end, we want to live.
While Hamas considers the proposal, Israel is carrying on with its offensive in the territory. Hospitals reported at least 31 Palestinians were killed by Israeli forces Tuesday.
Well, tomorrow we begin October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Breast cancer is the second leading cause of cancer death in women. About 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with the disease in their lifetime, and there is a continued rise of women under the age of 50 being diagnosed. Dr. John LaPook says artificial intelligence is now helping to identify cases.
You have a mammogram done, and the AI actually, even before the radiologist sees it, can put a little box around areas that are potentially dangerous. And the reason why that's important is that normal breast tissue looks white. A calcification, which can be indicative of, not always, but indicative of breast cancer, is also white. So it's like looking for a snowball on a snowdrift. And sometimes human eyes are not as good as the AI at finding it.
The American Cancer Society recommends women start talking to their doctor about screening at age 40. Health professionals also recommend women use a breast cancer assessment tool to gauge their risk. That can include family history, the results of a prior biopsy, and the age when a woman had her first child.
Meteorologist Blaise Keller back once again. A complete look at our full First Warn forecast.
And it is going to continue to be summer-like as we head into the rest of the week. A little bit cloudy tonight and into Wednesday. Temperatures, though, not only overnight, but into Wednesday, staying above average. We should be in the mid-40s for overnight lows this time of year. Instead, we're going to be in the mid to upper 50s underneath those mostly cloudy conditions. Wednesday, a mix of sunshine and some cloud cover, late day clearing. As we go into Thursday, we'll be more partly sunny, leading to more sunny conditions on Friday, coupled with southerly winds, dry conditions. We could be in store for climbing into the low 90s, upper 80s to low 90s possible as a high pressure system continues to slide off to the south and east. Mostly cloudy conditions on Wednesday, with that late day clearing from the northwest towards the southeast. Not expecting any rain with that cloud cover. By Thursday, partly sunny conditions. That high pressure system still pushing off towards the southeast, and our placement means that we'll get some southerly winds here as we go into Thursday. And those southerly winds really kick into overdrive into Friday. Coupled with sunny conditions, we could climb into those upper 80s to low 90s. Many of us across southern Wisconsin could be at least getting to the point where we could be setting some new record high temperatures for Friday's date. But Friday, Saturday, even Sunday, staying dry. Really from here all the way through Monday of next week, we're not anticipating any rainfall, which is unfortunate. We do need some rain. September was pretty dry for the Madison area as well as for a lot of Wisconsin. And if we look at the estimated rainfall totals over the next 7 days, taking us from the 1st through the 7th of October, it's not looking too promising in terms of meaningful rain. We could squeeze out a few showers there by Monday, maybe into Monday night of next week. But in terms of accumulated rain, this light green is a couple hundredths of an inch, so maybe a light rain shower. It's only when we get into parts of Minnesota that we start to see the blue, more of those half-inch totals. So that high pressure system continues to keep us dry. Southerly winds pushing those systems, those rainmakers well off to our north into parts of Minnesota as well as into parts of Canada. And as I mentioned, it has been a dry month for a lot of southern Wisconsin. This is Madison's data. We didn't even accumulate an inch and a half of rain for the entire month. If it wasn't for that half-inch rain on the 13th and the 20th, this would have been one of our driest Septembers on record. We're about 2 inches shy of what we would normally pick up for the month of September. Today's the last day, and we didn't see any rain. But we've been really reliant on the excess rain that we've accumulated up through August. A lot of us had about 3 or so inches of rain as kind of a padding, a rainy day fund, if you will. So that's the reason why we really haven't seen any drought conditions develop throughout this somewhat drier than average month. But there is rain in the forecast. It does look like we will see some as we head into Monday of next week, and then we'll keep our fingers crossed because we do need it, but we could see some rain there by next Thursday and Friday as well.
Not looking forward to the 90s, but fall will be here.
You know what? At least it's not going to be like 90 and 70 dew points though for Friday night football.
Not super humid.
Yeah.
Cool. And not a foot of snow either. We don't.
Nope, none of that. Not anytime soon.
It is October. We get that sometimes in October.
Hopefully towards the end of it.
Yes, I'm not ready.
Thank you, Blaze.
Thanks, Blaze.
Tie on Sunday night between the Packers and Cowboys. Ouch. It could have been a lot worse, though. It was 1 second away from a loss.
Yeah, thanks to Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love's clock management skills or lack thereof. Our Packers senior writer Jason Wilde has more on quite the learning experience from Green Bay.
If you were watching the final seconds of the Packers' 40-40 tie with the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday night, thinking, oh my gosh, they're going to run out of time. There won't be enough time to attempt a field goal. You weren't the only one thinking that. Matt LaFleur felt the same way. And when the TV cameras caught quarterback Jordan Love coming off the field and Matt LaFleur waiting for him, he seemed so calm in how he handled it. Made me curious, was he really that calm? Turns out he was in disbelief.
Yeah, I don't even know because it was like watching a slow motion car crash in front of your face where I'm just looking at the clock and I'm like, oh my God, there's going to be no time left. I mean, it's a very humbling experience to go through that, and it's unacceptable, quite honestly. So, and there's nothing we can do about it now other than we better learn from it, everybody. I'm sure it'll be a teach tape for around the league, to be honest with you.
Now, when Matt LaFleur talks about teach tape, what that means is that all the other 31 teams are going to use that clip to show their teams how not to handle an urgent situation. So that'll be the lesson that the Packers will learn and some other teams may learn thanks to them. We'll have full coverage throughout the bye week of the Packers on channel3000.com for free. And while you're there, don't forget to sign up for our Packers newsletter, which delivers our coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay, at Lambeau Field, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
Thanks, Jason. And still to come in sports, the Brewers prepare for the postseason. Plus, we're one step closer to knowing their opponents in the playoffs. That and more next on News 3 Now. It is a banner week for Wisconsin women's hockey. After blowing out Bemidji State to open their season, the Badgers return to Madison for their home opener on Friday, where they'll unveil their national championship banner. Kirsten Sims, a star on the team who scored the game winner to secure Bucky's 8th national title, says it'll be business as usual.
It's exciting, and we're going to take in the moment when it happens, but we have to remember that right as that puck drops on Friday that we're there for hockey and to play our game and to play Badger hockey, and now we're into 2025-26 season, so kind of focusing on that and what our identity is as a team now this year. But obviously it is exciting to get to take in that moment initially of the banner raising and all that and having our fans there and whatnot, but right as the puck drops, like I said, it's time to play hockey, and that's our main focus.
No one, and I mean no one, believed that the Brewers were going to do what they did this year. Nonetheless, have the best record in baseball, a remarkable season that turns the corner into the postseason this weekend. Sal Frelick says the crew, they don't pay much attention to that outside noise, adding especially after the start that this group got off to, he's just proud of his guys and ready to go prove it in the postseason.
And it doesn't really change anything in here. It's kind of how it's been, and we know the team we have, and we're super confident in that team. And it's just a matter of fact of going out and showing that this year, which I'm super proud that we did. And I mean, we want to win the World Series.
People have doubted us for for years now, and we continue to prove them wrong. And so it's like, you got to just play your game, and that's how we prove guys wrong, is playing our game, playing to win every pitch.
And the Cubs were winners in Game 1 of their wild card series, putting them 1 win away from a date with the Brewers in the NLDS. Believe it or not, and this is hard to believe, it would be the Brewers and Cubs' first ever meeting in the postseason. Media day for the Bucks was missing one major face, Giannis Antetokounmpo. But don't worry too much, he's not going anywhere. Milwaukee's superstar reportedly make that reported virtually because he has COVID. He says as a leader, he's of course disappointed to not be there with his Bucks, but says sometimes life happens. As far as the season goes, he'll be ready.
Bummed out that I'm not able to be there with the team and just get this ball rolling, and as Giannis, just as my confidence is in all-time high right now. I feel really good about myself. I feel really good about the team.
And make sure to tune in to News 3 Now on Friday at 6:30 for this week's episode of the Wisconsin Huddle that you don't want to miss. Jada Chernelia was amazing. And speaking of amazing, Blaze is just that. He'll be right back with a last check at our first warn forecast.
Finally tonight, check this out. An emergency landing in California caused a plane to touch down in the middle of a busy highway.
It went down literally on I-15 near San Diego. I was just on I-15 near San Diego a week ago, and traffic was bad enough without airplanes landing. The small plane landed right there in the median amid all that traffic. Officials confirmed no injuries were reported. That's the most important thing. And all those Californians, they know the traffic's going to be bad anyway, so hopefully they accounted for it. Blaze is back. Final check of the forecast, and the warm stuff keeps on coming.
Yeah, it's going to be quiet. I mean, that's pretty much it. Quiet, warm, a little bit cloudy tomorrow, but we could be into the 90s by the time we head into a Friday. So Friday Night Football looking to be a warm one, and then when the Badgers play on Saturday, we are looking at sunny conditions as well. 80s sticking with us through maybe Monday of next week. That's when we could see some rain. And once that system moves on through, just a couple days, hanging out in the 60s before we're back into the low 70s with more rain chances by the end of next week. But 90s possible on Friday. That's crazy. But we've had 90s as late as like October 13th. So
we'll have fall in November for 2 weeks.
I think it's just going to go
4 hours. That's how long fall's going to last.
I think it's going to go from like really nice
Don't
to
say
just bitter cold.
And
we're
that's how
gonna
it always
stay
works.
there.
So you get a long summer, you pay for it later.
the worst.
The Badgers are in Ann Arbor, though, by the way, so and they're kind of expecting the same weather over there.
Yeah, it's just going to be quiet. Quiet and nice.
And a big test at the big house for the Badgers.
Very big test. We'll have more on that in the days ahead as we lead up to that one. Thanks for joining us. Stephen Colbert Show coming your way next.
Our next show tomorrow morning at 4:30. You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+.